op-ed by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, written when he was in college, has bubbled up. Jeffries tore into black conservatives, writing, quote, "A recent trend in the black political arena, which I believe threatens to sustain the oppression of the black masses, the rise of the black conservative." Jeffries targeting figures like Justice Clarence Thomas, Secretary Colin Powell, and author Shelby Steele, calling them House Negroes. He also is defending anti-Semitic Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan and his own uncle, Professor Leonard Jeffries. City College of New York fired his uncle over comments about people of the Jewish faith. Jeffries' office says he disagrees with his uncle's views. Republican Congressman Byron Donalds with this.
I want to see where Democrats go with this. Where's the media? Where's CNN? Where's MSNBC? Are they going to, in the press conferences, ask Hakeem Jeffries day after day after day? Or are they going to let him give out his comment through his staff, by the way, and then just let them move on to the next subject? Because if this was Kevin McCarthy, if this was Paul Ryan, if this was John Boehner, it would be never-ending saga about why is such a person leading one of the prominent parties in America.
Well, they have to talk about something for hours on those other networks. Tammy Bruce, Fox News contributor, host of Get Tammy Bruce on Fox Nation. So, Hakeem Jeffries, is this a problem?
I don't think so. I mean, he is in his position because of the Democrat Party's need to kind of pander to the far left. So, look, we all change, right? This was from college, but he has not changed. And this really does resonate with the kind of rhetoric we've been hearing throughout the Democratic Party. And they pretend and they hide it. But the fact is that even if the other media doesn't cover it, the American people don't like this. We don't like the extremes on either end. We know there's going to be disagreements, but this is part and parcel of, and especially the messaging to black Americans or any group of Americans that the left has taken, control of, whether it's gays or women or blacks. Mm-hmm. The threat of so-called black conservatives is simply the threat that they're individuals, that this isn't about groups, that they think for themselves, right, that they're individual people. And the Democrats have relied on, groupthink and on not being able to kind of get out of that dynamic, that individualism and self-respect is the threat to the far left.
So I like what you started with, you're young, you can change. He hasn't. How do we know he hasn't?
Yeah.
We know that because as a leader then, a few years ago, in the House, he had the choice not to call former President Donald Trump a name that was so offensive across the country. Mm-hmm. He called him a grand wizard of the KKK.
Yeah.
He called a sitting president that.
Yeah. He may be less obvious with it, or it may be toned down.
It was pretty obvious.
And now it's just his staff saying, "Oh, never mind," and he expects to be protected by the legacy media. But the fact is that many of us do change, but some do not. And so he thinks he can get through this, and he is representing the Democrat Party as it is now. Democrats across this country have to decide if this is what they stand for, and I think most would say it's not.
New details about Anheuser-Busch's controversial decision to team up with transgender activist Dylan Mulvaney in its new marketing campaign. Sources telling the Daily Wire that no one at a senior level was aware of the partnership, calling it a mistake.
Wow.
And the beer giant is paying the price. The company's value dropped nearly $5 billion since that ad launched. 2024 Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy out with a new op-ed. Here's a quote. "For a drink that was once a blue-collar staple of middle America, this isn't a winning sales strategy. It's a way for the CEO to signal his virtue while alienating a customer base that is too afraid to say so out loud." Tammy.
Well, there are some leftist groups that go and try to affect corporations with rankings about how woke you are, or about how much you're invested in social justice and all of that. And if you don't do as they suggest, your ranking will go down. And for some companies, that ranking, inexplicably, it shouldn't matter at all, matters to them. Because it's a symbol of like, oh, look, for all of our leftist friends or Democratic friends, we're good, you can trust us. The problem with that is that it moves through groupthink, is that you forget about your consumer. You're selling a product to all Americans. And, this is not about even transgenderism. This is about Americans being tired of being lectured at, about watching our culture being manipulated through a framework like this to push us.
We just want to watch a game.
We want to watch a game, drink a beer. The American sensibility is we're all Americans first. We relate to everyone. Every American is our friend. And this is something that the American people are proud of, and they should be. This is more of like a lecture in a certain sense. There's other arguments about who we should be hiring and what this means. But the fact is, it's like Disney. They should have thought about it, and they made a mistake. Americans speak with their pocketbook.
Very true. The market can and will decide if you don't
always.
get in its way.
It does.
Meaning that's a note for the federal government. Tammy Bruce, great to have you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.